Go.
Hello, and once again, this is our fifth and last concluding video. Thank you, Tinley, for this opportunity and the education. I appreciate you. What we're going to talk about here is muscle imbalances as it relates to posture. Now, again, there's a lot of crossover from the last session, but we have to talk about the larger issue of posture. Now, these are balanced. Each side has approximately 8 to 9 pounds on each side. So it's balanced. This is the ideal. I have equal weight in the front and equal weight in the back. But what happens when we get older or we're less active or we're injured is, and it happens to all of us, we start to do this. We start to add weight. Now what would happen if I added all, and this is a 40-pound vest all total, if I added all 40 pounds to the front of this and nothing in the back, I would be pulled forward. All of this does. And that is what happens when we talk about weight distribution with our bodies. The other side of this is, what about the longer I wear this? What if I keep it this imbalanced, but right now it's manageable, but what happens over time? My body is going to pull itself down. Eventually I'm going to have to relax, and eventually this is going to pull me down. And that creates a muscle imbalance. The antagonist or the agonist, just like the last video where we talked about each side, creates that imbalance. So when that happens, we create risk factors for injuries, and our posture changes. So this becomes our normal day-to-day posture. So since I've already talked about the muscle side of this, there are other things that impact our posture. So I'm going to take this off for a second. This isn't necessarily within the text, but it's important. You have osteoporosis patient, or you have a patient with severe back injuries. And this is how this affects me as a massage therapist. If their posture is poor, something to keep in mind is what's compressed. And I'm not talking about muscles. What is compressed here? Well, your lungs. Your breathing mechanism is compressed. Your lungs aren't able to fill all the way. So anytime I see this, and this is their normal, I know this person is going to be at a higher risk for pneumonia, COPD, and breathing difficulties. How do I know that? Because you can see it easily. The lungs are compressed. The diaphragm, unless the person pulls up somehow, can't breathe all the way. They can't exhale all the way. All these internal organs compressed together causes other issues. Also, posture in general is a major diagnostic tool as a massage therapist, okay? So if I notice somebody like this, and I know I'm beating a dead drum, but this is like the number one thing we see. When I notice somebody like this, I know what's going on. I know their shoulders are going to be tight and their pecs are going to be short and weak, okay? And if I can correct that, if I can see that, and posture isn't just front and back. This isn't the only example, okay? Ask somebody with scoliosis if posture is just front and back. What happens in scoliosis? Well, they are lopsided, okay? And so their body compensates. And so if scoliosis is pronounced, and I'm taking it to an extreme, what's going on with the neck muscles? Well, this side of the neck is elongated. This is short. Now what's going on back here? Well, the shoulder's tight. All these muscles aren't going to line up right. Of course, in scoliosis, none of the muscles are going to lighten up right. But now you have a game plan. What do I do now? Well, when you're this lopsided, your pectoral muscles are different, okay? So what I want to do for the pecs is when I'm over here, I'm going to work the pecs in both directions. But what I'm going to do here is the primary force I use is going to be down. I want this shoulder to go down. So we're going to go down and we're going to go up light. We're going to go down and we're going to go up light. So the primary force is in the effort to get this muscle to lengthen and stretch out and get that shoulder closer to where it should be, okay? Just like the other side. What am I going to do here? I need to pull this muscle up. You have to remember the pecs, the fibers go this way. So with the pecs, you want to pull it in. I want to pull the shoulder up. So deep in, shallow out, deep in, shallow out, deep in, shallow out. That's what we are attempting to do, to get the soft tissue to at least help the body maintain the shape it was designed to make, despite the scoliosis or kyphosis or osteoporosis or any number of these issues. You want to work with the intention of, and we're not healers, we don't fix things, but I can make it easier on the body for it to deal with whatever it's dealing with. And that's how I look at muscle imbalances and issues like creep or issues with imbalances caused by illnesses and posture as a diagnostic tool and a treatment planner. That is our last video, so I do want to wrap this up with a conclusion. We've talked about thixotree, physioelectric responses, and the colloidal properties of the soft tissue around the muscle. We've talked about stability in the center of gravity. We've talked about nerve responses, muscle recruitment, fascial layers, the agonist and the antagonist concept to keep in mind, and the way you can assess and treat people based on their muscle imbalances, their posture, and how that affects things like breathing. All of these things are things that, as a massage therapist, you are going to deal with every day. Every day you're going to realize that even though this person has really crunchy knots right here, if you don't use some thixotree, and if you don't take advantage of getting the surrounding tissue to relax, you're not going to be able to get that tight knot to unfold. If you don't watch your stability in your center of gravity, okay, you're going to end up injuring yourself. If you don't watch how the nerves respond and are not aware of how muscle recruitment and fascial layers can bind up, you won't know when to just do some affleurage, or when do we need to stretch, when do we need to apply deeper tissue effects. And if you're not aware of how the body moves through the agonist and the antagonist, and if you're not aware of how to assess people by watching things like muscle imbalances and postural imbalances, you're going to have a more difficult time to be effective for your clients as a massage therapist. I'm very glad to be through this unit on kinesiology. I have learned a lot, and I look forward to being a better practitioner as a result. Thank you, and it's up to you, Tinley.